James Charles might be sending out cease and desist. James Charles is in huge trouble. Let's talk about it. This is Rich Deluxe with the hottest celebrity news on YouTube. Okay, so I'm gonna jump right into this. I did not expect to be talking about James Charles today. I had a whole other video planned, but this is hot news. So beauty insider KJ Bennett Beauty, also known as, I think, Kevin James Bennett Beauty, posted this onto his Instagram story. It says, "Hello, is anyone paying attention? The answer is hiding in plain sight." So in James Charles' video, where he's hyping up his makeup brand, there's a little clip. It happens very quickly. You can see two people who work at a laboratory who make his makeup line, painted by James Charles. You can see the name of the business right there. And if you zoom in, it appears to say Prisha, P-R-I-S-H-A, Beauty Best Kept Secret. So then because of that, James Charles essentially in his launch video exposed the laboratory who is making his cosmetics. I can't believe it. It had to be either rushed and he forgot, but it's so interesting because I remember watching this clip back. When I watched it back, these women's faces were blurred at one point, and then at another point they weren't. And I was like, wonder why. So according to KJ Bennett Beauty, he's saying that this laboratory is horrible. They have had many quality control issues. That's what he's saying in the article. We're gonna read you this, but first let's watch the original clip.
There's a huge emergency with my new makeup brand Painted, so come with me to the lab today to hopefully get it fixed. I had to wake up at the crack of dawn, which I was not excited about, to get ready and pack my kit because it's about to be a long ass day. I recently received my final sample of my first product that are about to launch, but when I tried them out, there was a huge problem. My paints were cracking. I could not believe it. After spending years on this formula to perfect it, and with our launch only being a couple of weeks away, this is not what I want to be dealing with right now. When you create a product with a lab, you work with their chemists to make a formula, and I went through more than 20 rounds of samples and formulas to get my paints absolutely perfect and ready to go, and they were approved and signed off on months ago. So why was the sample that I just received not the same as the approved formula? The best way that I can explain this is that formulas are kind of like baking recipes. But with makeup, instead of, grocery store items, it's chemical elements like hexadecane and dimethicone. So when you're baking, if you wanted to make more cupcakes, you just double your recipe, but makeup doesn't work the same way. So when labs scale up a formula from being a few tubes to several thousand, there's always bound to be some problems. So I pulled up to the lab and invited a couple of friends to join me and help test them out. I'm usually testing all my formulas by myself, but it is really helpful to get other opinions, especially from artists that I really respect, because it's important that my products work on different skin types, tones, and with different products and techniques. We worked with the chemist and went through color by color to make little tweaks to the formula. Thank God most of the paints were approved in only one try, but for some reason, we could not fix the yellow. We literally had to reformulate this color 4 times. I honestly did not think it was going to be approved today, but at the last minute, the chemist made one ingredient change, and by some miracle, it was finally good to go. I definitely wasn't looking forward to my lab day today, and it wasn't the most fun either, but these are normal problems that come with being a new brand owner, so you just gotta stay calm and problem solve. My friends being there to help me out made it so much more enjoyable, and at this point, I am just so excited that we are finally done and only a couple of weeks away from Painted being in the hands of artists all around the world.
So that clip was like a teaser. He was hyping it up, letting you know he's really working hard for his makeup brand. But here's what KJ Bennett Beauty has to say. First of all, most of you are horrible detectives. In a previous post, I pointed out that the statements made by James Charles in his Painted launch video were setting off a warning, bells, and flashes red lights to me as cosmetics developer. They were setting us up for another lipstick gate or Painted gate in this case. Maybe like a Jaclyn Hill situation type thing, who knows? I think that's what he's alluding at. And I find it interesting that KJ Bennett Beauty, he tagged James Charles and he tagged James Charles makeup brand. Like, whoa. So James Charles, by the time making this video, already knows about it, and we'll see if James Charles makes a response. Days before. This is days before his launch is with August 7th. Oh, by the way, my birthday is August 9th, and I will be live on TikTok on August 9th on the evening and during the day. We're trying to hit the TikTok rankings again, so if you're there, come join me on TikTok live at Rich Lux. I'll be there, and we're gonna try to boost the rankings all the way to the top. See how far we can go. So then KJ says this in his statement. It is true. His statement of making changes, adjustments to the formula up until approximately July 29th, 2023 meant the final approval formulas would not go through proper stability testing to be in the fulfillment center, ready to ship on August 7th, 2023. Quick refresh. Standard cosmetic stability testing takes around 12 weeks, 16 weeks for SPF products. Accelerated or fast stability testing requires 4 to 6 weeks under extreme conditions. there is 1 week between when James Charles to have finally approved his formula and the Create Paint production launch in 1 week. And this is all because James Charles has said this in this video. Here we go, roll it.
So even up until a couple of weeks ago, I was still in the lab perfecting and finalizing and approving the formula like I showed you guys.
And that's the clip that's really getting him in trouble. So here we go.
So even up until a couple of weeks ago, I was still in the lab perfecting and finalizing and approving the formula like I showed you guys.
If James was being truthful about the time frame of his last minute changes, we're looking at very real chance that this will be another Jaclyn Cosmetic lipstick gate. I mentioned I knew the manufacturer product, his Create Paints, and noted that they've been cited for quality control problems and product contamination. And if they think my statement is libelous, I have former clients of the manufacturer who would be happy to verify this information. So don't bother with the cease and desist. Ever since I mentioned I know the manufacturer, I've been flooded with DMs begging to know who it is, and guessing incorrectly. Folks, James Charles posted a video on TikTok with the answer in plain sight. So, suppose the launch of Create Paint goes sideways, quite likely, and James blames the manufacturer, also quite likely, because narcissists never hold themselves accountable. You know who is throwing under the bus. Girl! There you go, let's talk, because I feel like we need to talk. Let me see here. This is very interesting. So now we know who created the Create Paints. We know the manufacturer, we see the lab, we have the employees' faces on there, which I don't know if they wanted to be shown or not. Very interesting. And James Charles is a huge creator. And I think that this might have been a slip, but I don't know, because I have a feeling that maybe James Charles did this on purpose and wanted people to know where these people are and where this lab is. Maybe he wants us to know. Maybe this is all to drum up drama before the launch. And I think that, you know, I see a lot of people saying, I'm not gonna support James Charles. And I see some people, his diehard community, they're gonna buy his paints. And maybe this brand, right, this James Charles makeup brand, Create Paints or Painted by James Charles, maybe this Painted by James Charles is just for his fans. They're just for them. Who knows? But maybe, you know, I think it could be. Oh, let's not forget, James Charles posted a new TikTok where he's showing off that many celebrities are wearing his makeup. Beyonce, Nicki Minaj, Cardi B are all wearing James Charles Create Paints. Now, some people are arguing in the comments and they're saying the makeup artist put it on the celebrity. The celebrity doesn't even probably know what's going on their face. So there's that argument. But let me play you the clip. Here we go.
Beyonce, Queen B, is wearing my new makeup brand. I could actually cry right now. You have no idea how much this means to me. Let me tell you guys how this happened. When I got my final samples from the lab a couple of months ago, one of the first things that I did was text a couple of celebrity makeup artist friends and ask if I could send them a little package. I made it super clear there was no pressure to post or use them, but if they did get a chance to play, I would love to hear their honest thoughts and feedback. It's been a couple of months, but I cannot believe some of the faces that Painted has ended up on all before we launch next week. Let me show you. Pull up in the monster automobile gangsta with a bad bitch that come from mother. Nicki Minaj, number one, the motherfucking GOAT, is wearing our blueprint paint on her eyes thanks to the incredible Diana Shin in the Barbie World music video. The beautiful Becky G is wearing ink, our black paint, as an eyeliner thanks to Makeup by Gilly. Armando Cole did this beautiful rainbow look on BB and cut her crease using our Pinky Promise paint. Alexis Oakley blended out ink for a stunning black smoky eye on Avril Lavigne. One thing about Cardi is that this bitch is going to eat a look up every single time. Her makeup artist Erica LaPearl used Blueprint as a liner. And last but not least, Queen B. Beyonce's makeup artist Raquel is obviously so talented, but also is just the loveliest person. I honestly couldn't even believe that he said yes to me sending him a package. So when he texted me saying that B was on stage wearing Pinky Promise and ink, I lost my mind. Raquel, if you're watching this, I love you and I am forever grateful. I actually cannot believe that Painted has the official stamp of approval from all of these incredibly talented makeup artists. And you guys, if they love Create Paints, then I know that you will too.
And we're back in town to shut it down. It's just very interesting. You know, I always see this anytime a very popular person is gonna launch something. There's a lot of stuff that starts coming out right before the launch. You know, the makeup industry is very competitive. It's a lot of competition out there. It's also very saturated at the same time. And I truly believe that only the strong survive. And let's just say that James Charles has a launch and it runs smoothly. Who's to say that it will not not or will be here 5 years from now. I think that's the ultimate test, is to have a cosmetic brand that has lasted more than 3 years. Make it last like a very long time. That's it. I mean, there's so many beauty brands that open up and close, We've seen them so many times. But, you know, I wish him the best, much success. And I feel like James Charles might respond. I have a feeling that he will make a response video about the lab. I mean, this is really hitting him close to home. Now people are going to question his quality of makeup that he's been hyping up for the last couple of months, that he's been working on this for 4 years. And here it is, up to the minute, and it gets called out that the laboratory he's using isn't the greatest by an industry insider. So I wouldn't be surprised if James Charles tries to take Kevin J to court. I wouldn't be surprised if James Charles makes some type of video response calling him out. Very interesting tea. But I feel like Kevin James knows what he's doing, so I don't think he'll sweat it. But we'll see what happens. It also could be very much James Charles' pattern of behavior to just ignore it and not say anything at all and not bring any attention to it. So we'll see what happens. Keep it locked in the Rich Lugs for the hottest celebrity news on YouTube.